Shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, Taban to the elders of the great millstone, and peace and salutations unto the elect of the nation of Israel, and to you speckled bird Israelites that look like they heat the nations, they all say shalom. And I also want to give a shalom to all you brothers and sisters that may be out there listening to these videos. A shalom to you brothers that are out there in the highways and byways doing the work in the Lord these last days. To y'all say shalom. Come back at y'all with another quick video on I'm gonna do a breakdown on Isaiah the 52nd chapter. And this is gonna be a quick video, ain't gonna be long. You know. Um I also want to mention that this video is only for the Israelites, who the world today calls black people, Hispanic people, Native American people, African American, Cubans, Haitians, Jamaicans, who else? Native Indians, if I didn't already say that. That's who the Lord, who the world literally calls Jesus died for. He died for those people only. He didn't die for all people. And his real name is Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh, the Most High, who the world calls God, his name is Yahweh. He chose this nation to be his people only. But I want to do a quick video on Isaiah the 52nd chapter because it talks about, basically telling you to wake up, like the Israelites to wake up. Like it says in Isaiah the 52nd chapter, the first verse, it says, "Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city," which is talking about the Israelites. It's not literally talking about the city Jerusalem, but it's talking about the Israelites, right? And when it says awake, what does it mean to awake? Right? It means to turn to your heritage, right? To understand who you are, to repent, to follow the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's what it means to awake. It's not a literal, you gotta wake up and put on some strength. No, it's a spiritual thing, right? It says, "For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean," right? And who is it talking about? It's talking about these heathens. They're not gonna be over. It's too much longer. We're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, which is the implant. They don't take this video now. We're coming to the time of a great famine. The martial law, troops, persecution. We're coming into these times. It says, verse 2, it says, "Shake thyself from the dust," meaning get out of that confused state, right? That lower state, right? And really, the elect is only going to come out of that state of mind, right? It says, "Arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion." It says, "For thus saith Yahweh, ye have sold yourselves for naught, but ye should be redeemed without money." Because when the Lord come back, when Yahweh Shai returns, hey man, ain't gonna be no money involved, man. There's not gonna be no money involved. It says, verse 4, it says, "For thus saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, what have I here, saith Yahweh, that my people was taken away for naught." Right, It says, "They that rule over them make them to howl, saith the Lord, and my name continually every day is blasphemed." And how is that? Because you got a lot of people out here, of our nation, and, these heathens. These people, specifically Esau, Edom, which is the so-called white race, they're in power, and they have put themselves up as Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and that's how his name is being blasphemed, or, blasphemed, and the scriptures are not taught correctly. Everything that's wicked is upholding in America, and all around the world, it's upholding. It's put on a pedestal, and, we're howling by way of being vexed to the spirit, man, going through these curses, us being at the bottom, us being in the ghettos and the slums, not knowing who we are, being under this devil, man, It says, verse 6, it says, therefore my people shall know my name, and therefore shall know in that day that I am he, and that do speak, behold, it is I. Who's going to know that name? The elect. You know? It says, verse 7, it says, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, and that publisheth peace, and that bringeth good tidings of good, and that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, thy power reigneth. You see? Well, who's telling the Israelites that? The prophets, man. It says, verse 8 says, thy watchmen, which are the prophets, thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, and the voice, it says, with the voice together they shall sing, for they shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring in Zion. That the Lord's doing that now, man. The Lord's bringing the elect, not all the Israelites right now, because 2/3 will perish and die on this side, but they will be brought back in the kingdom. It says, verse 9, it says, break forth into joy and sing together, ye waste places of Jerusalem, for the Lord hath comforted his people, and he hath redeemed Jerusalem. You see? So, hey, man, you know, who's going to break forth into joy, though? The elect, the remnant, right? You know, let's get this in the book of Isaiah chapter 10, verse 21. There's only going to be a remnant. It's not going to be all the Israelites. Let's get this. It says, Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 20. I'm going to start at verse 20. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel are such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. Who is that smote us? Who's that whipped us and that beat us to slavery? Right? It's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. It says, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. Right. That's the time. That's the elect that's going to do that. The nation of Israel. Right? It says, verse 21, it says, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God. It says, for though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return, and the consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. You see? Now I'm going to go back to the 52nd chapter. Right, a lot of times when it speaks about the uncircumcised and the unclean, it's talking about the heathens. And I know I mentioned that. Let me get a precept, because the scriptures say, through thy precepts I get understanding. So I would have to uncircumcised. I have to prove that. I know there's one. I'm thinking the one where David said something about, I have to fight this uncircumcised. Yeah, there we go. Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking of. This is 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 26. It says, and David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, What shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away to the reproach of Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living power? Right. And it's kind of like, if you want to say like an insult, basically. Like that's what it is. That's what it means to. That's what it's talking about in Isaiah the 52nd chapter. The uncircumcised shall no more come unto thee. You know, that's what it's talking about in the first verse. You know, where was I at? And also, when it says put on our beautiful garments, I'm gonna get this in the book of Baruch. You got to break it. I got to break it down through the precepts. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hear every false way. I believe it's in Baruch the 4th chapter. Matter of fact, it's in this chapter. There we go. Baruch the 5th chapter. And the first verse, it says, put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of mourning of affliction. You see that? Put off the garment. How can you put off a garment of mourning? That doesn't make sense. It's figuratively speaking, right? That's what it's talking about in Isaiah the 52nd chapter, where it says, basically, shake thyself from off the dust. Get out of that sad, low estate. You know. It says, put on the comeliness, which comely means to be beautiful, of the glory that cometh from Yahweh Shema Shai, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which bringeth into a kingdom. You know, it says, verse 2, it says, cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which cometh from Yahweh, and set a diadem on thine head of the glory of the everlasting right. That's coming into this truth, man. You know, because this truth is what brings us to the kingdom. Starting with this truth that Yahweh Shemel Shah gives us. I was in, where was I? I think I was at verse 8, I think I read, and I'm gonna read verse 9. It says, break forth into joy and sing together, ye waste places of Jerusalem. For the Lord hath comforted his people, and he hath redeemed Jerusalem. You see, right now, as a nation, the people as a whole nation, we're a waste. We're destroyed mentally. We don't know who we are. The elect knows. The elect is going to break forth into singing. But as a whole nation, we're still destroyed. Our kingdom won't be established until this kingdom is destroyed. Until Yahweh Shah comes back with the angels and the chariots. And World War III is popping off. That's when we're going to be redeemed and be comforted. Right? And our bodies are going to be changed. And we're going to be beamed up. It says, verse 10, it says, the Lord hath made bare his holy arm, which is talking about the Israelites, and the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our power. Right? And how are they going to see the salvation? Let's get the book of Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7. Right? It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. Right? You see that? That's talking about all across the four corners of the earth. Every eye shall see him. Right? You heathens. And you 230 Jakes. It says, and also they which also pierced him. Right? You Israelites that gave him up. And even Pontius Pilate and, King Herod, they back on the earth today. It says, and all the creatures of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. Right? So, this is talking about who the word inwardly calls Jesus returns. These nations are going to be wailing. When you wail, that's like a horrible scream, type thing. They're not going to be singing for joy. Wailing is something that's painful, something that's agonizing. You're going to be in pain and agony when the Lord comes, man. And to prove that's talking about so-called UFOs, talking about the chariots. Let's get to this in the book of Psalms, chapter 101 and verse 4, I believe it is. All right, gotta go precept upon precept. No, that's not it. It's lucky. There you go. I'm gonna give verse 3. It says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, and who maketh the clouds his chariot, and who walketh upon the wings of the wind. That's talking about so-called UFOs, what the white man calls them, with their chariots, right? They make themselves look like clouds, and they can cloak themselves through the clouds. That's what that's talking about. Let's go back to the book of Isaiah, 52nd chapter, because we're breaking this chapter down. Where's I at? Verse 11 says, depart ye, go out from thence, and touch no unclean thing. And go ye out of the midst of her, and be ye clean. What is that talking about? Depart out of America spiritually, not physically. You don't have to go get a plane and, go to a different country and jump, in their society and try to restart your life and live a Hebrew Israelite. No. That's not what that's talking about. It says, be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord, right? That means separate yourself. Like it says in the book of Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Let's get that. It's like I clicked the wrong thing. Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Where is all yet? It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, and it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. You see? It's gonna just where we're at in America and Babylon. If you partake in Esau's ways, man, you're gonna be destroyed mentally. You're not gonna be, in the congregation of the living. You're gonna be in the congregation of the dead, right? And we don't want to be in that state, because if we're in that state, hey, there's no chance for us, man. It's over. But I'm gonna read this in verse 12. It says, for ye shall not go out with haste, nor go out by flight, for the Lord will go before you, and Yahweh Shah of Israel will be your reward. You see that? So we don't have to go out by haste. We don't have to try to figure out what we're gonna do to get up out of here. The Lord said He was gonna gather us, man. You know, the Lord said He was gonna redeem us. You know, like it said up here, it said, "For you have sold yourselves for naught," man. We've went and did this and that for no reason. You know, Jake tried so many different things to try to get out this captivity and try to, so-called be on top and be in some type of position of sovereignty, but it's just not going to happen. The Lord got to redeem us, man. You know, it says, let me read verse 13. It says, "Behold, my servant shall deal prudently," meaning wisely. It says, "and he shall be exalted and extolled and be very high." Right? And I'm going to get that. Who is his servant? Right? Precept upon precept. It says, "Yet now hear, O Jacob," which Jacob's name was changed to Israel, Genesis, the 32nd chapter, I believe. It says, the chapter could be wrong, that's why I said I believe. But his name was changed to Israel if you're a new listener. It says, "Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, in whom I have chosen." That's the same man, the same nation of people. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee, fear thou not, O Jacob my servant, and Jeshurun, whom I have chosen." Right? It says, "For I will pour up water upon him that is thirsty, and flows upon the dry ground, and I will pour out my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring." See, what is that water? It's talking about the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. That's what that water is talking about. You know? And that's coming out in these last days, man. Through the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down. Hey, man, that water is flowing. You know? It's gushing, so to speak. You know? And you can't stop it, man. You know, it don't matter what Esau tries to do or 2% of our people try to do. But, I'm going to read verse 14. It says, "As many as were, asinine that his visage was so marred more than any man, and his form was more than the sons of men." That's talking about Yahweh Shai. It says, verse 15 says, so shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him, and for that which had not been told thee shall they see, and that which they had not heard they should consider. Right. The Lord is waking up, remnants of our people all across the globe, man. Across the four corners of the earth, man. So, I might do a part 2 if it wasn't completely edifying, or, wherever the Lord permits, I'm gonna probably try to do a lot of these, just break down certain chapters or go into other things, more in depth, So, you might understand what the chapter is talking about, because sometimes when you read the scriptures, you'll read it and it'll talk about one thing and they'll start talking about another thing. So that's why you go precept upon precept. But this is one of those chapters I want to do, a video on, because a lot of the latter chapters, like a lot of the chapters that are going towards the end in the book of Isaiah, is talking about basically, the kingdom coming, or us getting towards the kingdom, And, if you don't have understanding, you're not going to know that. You're not going to know that in the Old Testament, it speaks of Yahweh Shai. It speaks of the kingdom of heaven in the Old Testament. You're not going to know, because you got a lot of Old Testament only Israelites to believe in certain things, and they don't have the understanding. Well, I'm going to put this video up, and, hey, Lord willing, whoever sees this, you get the understanding of what this chapter is talking about. Well, I'm going to end off with that. I'm going to give all praises, all honor, glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kagadash, a double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect in the nation of Israel. I'm going to say, wow, blah, 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 shalom.